USA team in the World Championship in Chicago. So that's the first time I seen him. I never thought I was gonna fight him. Like you said, I seen him 2 years ago when I was working. I was driving my Barrett around, packing these boxes up, and I was watching on my phone when he was fighting Lomachenko. So now fast forward 2 years later, and I'm over here headlining the card. I mean, but I feel all this is happening right now just because all the changes I made with my life, my lifestyle, just coming down to the way I should have been fighting a long time ago. I was fighting at 147, my last loss when I fought Jamal James. Now my last 5 fights I've had at 140, which I feel great. I'm training with my old coach from the amateurs, so I've had my last 3 fights with them, and I feel like the discipline level and my lifestyle just completely changed, and that's the reason I'm where I'm at today. I know a lot of people are surprised; they just think I came out of nowhere, but I mean I went through a lot these past few years, but right now I feel like everything's paying off. It wasn't easy for me; it was a tough road, but at the end of the day, it's all worth it. I feel like when I win that world title, it's gonna feel that much greater.
Just a reminder, everybody who wants to ask a question, please use the raise hand button on your Zoom, or if you cannot find it, you can privately message me. Do not send a message to everyone, and I will get to you. So we have our first question here. Our correspondent of Southern California from Fight News, Miguel Maravilla. Miguel, go ahead when ready.
Hey, what's up, Javier? First of all, man, talk about this preparation. You mentioned, you've been working with Robert now, and give me a little bit on your last fight, your victory.
Against the Miramon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've been working with Robert my last 3 fights already, Robert Luna. And against the Miramon, we knew he was a tough fighter. He had fought Jose Ramirez for the world title. He came a little short, but he was a hungry fighter. He came with everything. He was aggressive. He's tall. He was a strong fighter, lanky. So we knew it wasn't going to be easy, but we had the game plan to just outbox him, and that's what we did. We won unanimous decision, and now I'm here. So I got a bigger fight with Pedraza.
You were an Olympian, then you hit a few bumps. You had a few defeats early on in your career. Then you had your you went on a 2-year hiatus. What did you do in those 2 years, and what did you have, the time to reflect? What was it that made you change?
It was a lot. It was tough. I had gone like 2.5 years without fighting, so it was definitely tough times. And then end up getting a fight. Golden Boy got me a fight, and then after that, I thought I was gonna stay active, but I took another year without fighting. So in between that time, I got a job at Smart and Final at the warehouse, and my whole life changed right there. I couldn't go to the gym like I wanted to. I was working graveyard shifts, so I'll go in like at 7:30 at night, and then sometimes come out at 8 in the morning. So I really sleep all day. I'll wake up and I have to go to work again. I only had Tuesdays and Wednesdays off, so I was even working weekends like almost every day. So it was definitely tough, but I just wasn't satisfied with where my career left off, and I knew I had a lot to give. And if I just had the opportunity, so because there was a couple times where I kind of questioned if I was gonna continue fighting. I had a family I needed to provide for. I have a little girl. She's 5 years old now. So I mean, it was definitely tough times, but at the end of the day, I feel like I put myself in that position. I had opportunities to make, but to make things happen in the sport, but my own discipline, and it was completely my fault. So I had to man up and do what was right. I started working graveyard shift. Had to pay some bills. So I mean, but at the end of the day, it's all worth it. I look back now, I'm like, man, never again do I want to work at that warehouse. I have respect for all those warehouse workers. It's nothing easy, man. When I was there, my whole life was just warehouse, and it was just it was a low time for me in my life. I just felt like I had so much to give in the sport, but I just couldn't, and I just felt like I was fully responsible for it because of my actions.
Thank you, Miguel. And next we go to our good friend Ernesto Amador. Ernesto, please go ahead.
Hello, Javier. By any chance you speak Spanish too? Okay, let's go in Spanish, Ivan.
And just a heads up, anybody who asks a question in Spanish, Gardy Lopez will be here to translate, so he will do the translation in English. So just give Gardy some time after you ask your question in Spanish. Thank you.
No worries, Mr. Ivan. There you go. Okay. Javier, no sé si te has dado cuenta de que es una oportunidad enorme de poner tu nombre a nivel mundial en los mejores de las 140. Vas ante un ex campeón, enfrentaste a uno antes y lo de Okada. O sea, vienes de un momento muy importante, pero esta puede ser una pelea muy importante para tu carrera. ¿Qué opinas de esto?
No, claro que sí.
Hay que esperar a Gardi.
Sorry.
Yeah, so you have a good opportunity in front of you. You demonstrated that against Okada, against Imam, but you have a even bigger opportunity now in front of you. What do you think about that?
No, claro que sí. Pedraza es un gran peleador, sabe cómo cambiar de guardia, usar el cuadrilátero. Sabemos lo que tiene que hacer y tiene mucha experiencia. Ya 2 veces campeón. Así que ganándole a Pedraza, siento que me pone ahí una buena posición para pelear por un título. Le acabo de ganar a Imam, que ya peleó por un título. Le paré a Okada en el primero, que estaba rankeado como 5 o 3 o algo en varios títulos. Así que ganándole a Pedraza, pienso que merezco una oportunidad para pelear por un título.
This is a big opportunity for me. You know, like I have been demonstrating in my last couple of fights. I know that by winning against Pedraza will put me in position to fight for a world title. So, like I said, I've been showing good performances in my last couple of fights against Okada and against Imam, and I'm planning on doing the same on Saturday because I know that a win will get me closer to a world title fight.
Te dicen al intocable. ¿Piensas ser intocable para Pedraza?
Sí, pues,
they call you the untouchable. Are you planning on being untouchable against Pedraza?
Pues sí, siento que él tiene su ritmo de la pelea, puede pelear él adentro y usar su distancia, así que siento que yo me puedo adaptar a cualquier estilo que haga, así que si tengo que fajarme, lo voy a hacer, si tengo que contragolpear, lo que voy a hacer, depende de cómo vaya la pelea.
I believe that Pedraza has a good opponent that I can adjust to it. You know, I'm ready for whatever he brings in the ring. If I have to battle and go toe to toe with him, I will do it. But if I have to box and move around the ring, I'm able to do that too.
Thank you very much, Ernesto. Next, we go to Carlos Toro. Carlos, you're unmuted. Please go ahead.
Hi, Javier. Thanks so much for taking time to talk to us. I mean, first of all, have you had a chance to sort of check out Jose Pedraza's fights in the bubble? I know he's had the fight against Miklik Pierre where he looked pretty good in that 10-rounder. You sort of had a chance to check that fight out and see how Pedraza has looked so far?
Yeah, well, we've actually been watching him a lot during my whole camp, but not so much the Le Pierre. We've seen a few times the Le Pierre, but I just feel like Le Pierre's style is completely different from mine. He's a little more flat-footed. He looked good against Le Pierre. He did what he had to do, won clearly, but we're looking more like guys like Cepeda when he followed Machenko, or different styles. I mean, he has similar rhythm to the fights, but yeah, we've been studying all his fights.
How different has this training camp been for you in terms of preparation and sort of dealing with all the COVID guidelines and everything? Has sparring been an issue with trying to find people to spar and prepare for this fight?
No, it actually hasn't. We're all right there in LA where there's gyms everywhere, there's sparring partners everywhere, but thankfully for us, the gym that we originally trained at was closed, but we had somebody else that had a gym, so we rented it out. It was a back house. So training camp went smooth. We had no problems, and we're happy with our training camp went.
Thank you very much, Carlos. And now we move ahead to JR Bell. JR, go ahead, please.
Greetings there, Javier. In the introduction, you were talking about your transition from 147 to 140 and how you've been able to perform well at 140. Like, could you talk about like how comfortable you were after you cut down that weight and then you had those first couple of fights at 140?
Yeah, man, I feel like it's been a big difference, and fighting at 140, 147, I just had that extra weight on me. And the reason I was fighting at 47 was because I would be back then, I would be walking around like 170 something. So I never even thought about going down to 140. But it wasn't until I really started taking it serious and started taking care of myself. That's when I started dropping. When I was walking around like 152, 153, I was like, man, I think I can make 140. So then what we actually did before, because it was the last time I had made 140 was in the Olympic Games 2008. So what we did, me and my coach, we set up a sparring on a Saturday, and we waited on Friday like if it was a fight. So then we dropped down to 140. The next day we did a sparring, eight or 10 rounds just to see how my body was gonna feel at 140, and I felt great. So we just stayed. We started campaigning at that weight, and we're here now.
Now, seeing that Pedraza had his win over Mikel Lespierre over in the bubble in his last performance, he was 2-2 in his last couple of fights. So he's kind of like been up and down. So how do you like go off of your momentum of your win against Amir Imam to go forward with this fight against Pedraza?
Yeah, well, I mean, he lost to Cepeda 2 fights ago. Cepeda's a good fighter. He looked great against Lapierre. He came back strong, but I'm expecting the best Pedraza. I know they say sometimes he comes to fight, sometimes he's not himself, but I'm expecting the best. And I feel like I have the ball, I have the momentum, like you said. I'm going the right direction, and we just keep moving. We just keep moving forward, even though I see a lot of people counting me out. At the end of the day, the only ones that count is my team and myself. We believe in ourselves. We're coming to the fight confident, and we believe we can win.
Thank you.
And we are going to win.
Thank you very much, JR. And next we go to Ricardo Torres from Telemundo, Puerto Rico. Reminder to Ricardo and Javier, just please let Gardy translate into English after you ask a question, and then after you answer, Javier. Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. I have 2 questions, Javier. La primera pregunta sería en el sentido de que tú empezaste hablando de que no has podido mostrar todo tu potencial hasta el presente y que por eso quizás te menosprecian. ¿Entiendes que en 140 sí estás en el lugar donde quieres estar y tienes la división perfecta para mostrar tu talento?
Some people have, took you for less of a fighter in to other stuff that you have shown before. Do you think that at 140 you have the right division to show your real talent?
Sí, yo siento que en este peso, este es mi peso, me siento fuerte, rápido, así que siento que 147 era muy pesado para mí, era la disciplina que me causó pelear en ese peso, pero ahorita me siento fuerte y siento que en cada pelea sigo aprendiendo más y más, así que pelea por pelea siento que me voy a estar mejorando y va a ver el público cómo voy a mejorar esta pelea.
I feel great in this weight. I feel strong. I feel fast. The only reason I was fighting at 147 was because I had some discipline issues, but now this is all behind me. I feel great, like I said, in 140, and fight by fight, I'm gonna keep looking better and better, and people are gonna watch that on Saturday.
My other question, mi otra pregunta es si entiendes que el ganador de esta pelea, porque tú señalas que esta pelea te podría poner a las puertas de un título, pero para Pedraza es prácticamente igual. Tú lo conoces hace muchos años. ¿Cómo has visto su evolución y cuán importante es este combate para los dos?
This is a fight that will get both the winner closer to a world title opportunity. You know him for a long time. You have seen his evolution. How important is this fight for both of you?
No, pues sí, los dos estamos en posiciones similares. No podemos tomar otra derrota en nuestro récord, pero siento que en esta pelea el ganador va a ser el que es más inteligente, más preparado, y lo vamos a enseñar. Los dos lo queremos, pero al final el ganador va a ser el que está más preparado para esta pelea, y siento que nosotros vamos a estar más preparados.
I feel like we're in the similar position. None of us can take another loss in our record. I feel like the fighter that's going to win this fight is the more intelligent and the better prepared, and I believe that's going to be me.
All right. As a reminder, everybody, if you'd like to ask a question, please use the raise hand button on your Zoom, or if you cannot find it, again, you can message me directly in the chat. So I'm just gonna wait around for 1 second. I got a couple more questions for Javier, and then we will get to Jose, who has just arrived. Hold on 1 second. Jeremy Harridges, I've asked you to unmute, so when you are ready, please go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you, Javier, for taking the time. You talked about lifestyle changes. Was that purely diet? Was it diet and exercise? Can you go a little bit more in depth with that?
No, it was beyond that. I went through a phase. my life where I was just I had kind of had checked out. Even though I'd be in the gym, like in my head I wasn't there. I was just partying the whole time. I was a lot of drinking, so it was just a different lifestyle I was living. And that's why I was fighting at that weight. That's why I even look back at some of my fights and I'm like, man, like even the way I was fighting, I felt like I just kept, instead of bettering, I kept going. I felt like every fight I was looking worse. Like it was just, I mean, in my head it just wasn't in it, and it was showing in my fights. I would be getting tired. Even the first fight that I lost, which was my 10th, 11th fight. I mean, I think I was tired like in the second, third round. It was just a completely different lifestyle that I was living. But because before that, it was the complete opposite. When I made the Olympic team, I was fully dedicated like I am now, and that's why I was the youngest member of the 2008 Olympic team. I was only 17 years old. I was going into the nationals. Nobody even thought that I would even go to Olympic trials. I ended up winning the whole thing. I fought in the Olympic trials. I beat everybody. Beat Danny Garcia in the Olympic trials in the finals to make the Olympic team. But I just after that, after I came back after the Olympic Games, I felt like I took the loss pretty hard, and my career just kind of went a different route. I was like I said, I had discipline issues. I was partying too much, and I mean it showed. I feel like that's why you see that I never fought for a world title. You see Pedraza, we both went to the same Olympics, but he was more disciplined. Obviously, he was a two-time world champ. But if he thinks, if their team or anybody thinks that he has me outgunned this weekend, then they're gonna be in for a surprise. I have a lot in my resume. I mean, obviously, I haven't fought for those world titles or won those world titles, but me and my team know why. And right now that we're on track, we have everything where we want. I'm back with my old coach. I mean, I feel like everything is where it needs to be, and it's the right time. I feel like I'm peaking. Even those losses I took, I never took any punishment. In those two losses, I felt like I never really been hit. I haven't taken any punishment in this sport. I feel like I'm fresh. I'm in my prime, so I feel like right now is the right time to be fighting for these world titles and the elite and against these elite fighters.
Has there ever been a moment where you felt temptation to fall back into bad habits, or is being prosperous in the ring kind of canceled out any temptation?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in the beginning was a little harder, but once I started getting the ball rolling, and I started getting these fights, I started getting opportunities, and then with my family, I have a lot of support from my girlfriend, my parents, my brothers, my coach, everybody that sacrifices so much for me. They were there with me even when I wasn't fighting. They always believed in me, and that's part of the reason why I feel like I'm here today. I feel like if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't even be fighting anymore. But they believe in me just as much as I believe in myself. So that's why I was able to move forward. I went through a lot. I struggled a lot in those times. I wasn't making any money, so I had a lot of support from them. I had bills I needed to pay, and they helped me out a lot. So I was able to get through that, and I'm here now. So I'm not just doing this for myself. This is bigger than me. I have a lot of people who helped me, and I'm here to show them that everything they did for me is gonna be all well worth it.
Thank you very much. We got time for one more question with Javier, because we got to get to Jose. So Crystal, I've unmuted you, or I've asked to unmute you. So please be up when you're unmuted. Ask a question to Javier, and then we'll get to Jose.
Hey Javier, almost everything's been asked, but I did want to ask you, Jose Pedraza, it says his stance ambidextrous. What does that mean to you, and how did you prepare for this type of style?
Yeah, we've seen that he likes to switch a lot, but he has similar rhythms in both orthodox and southpaw. But we set it on both sides, so whatever he wants to do, without giving too much away from our game plan, I feel like we got answers for anything he does. He has patterns in his rhythms that we're gonna take advantage of. So we're ready and we're excited to put on the show.
Thank you, Crystal, and thank you so much, Javier. If there's anything else, anything in closing you'd like to say before you go, please go ahead.
I just want to thank everybody for having me. You're gonna see come Saturday night. If you guys don't have me as the winner, I'm gonna surprise a lot of you guys. But it's gonna be a good fight, a good tactical fight. He's a good fighter. My hats off to him. He's a two-time world champ, and I'm excited to share the ring with him and put on the show.